My skin is my sin and has brought curses into this life of mine. My oppressors only associate my blackness with a life of crime. Went from the threats of Willie Lynch to America thinking I'll be the next Willie Horton. But there's no weekend passes from prejudice, so I'm made to feel that my life is less important. I was institutionalized before I came to prison. Because at school, I was never nourished or properly poured in. My problems went ignored, and teachers would mistake cries for help as a disruption and send me to the principal like he was the warden. So my anger was stored in a body that didn't know how to express it. I had undiagnosed mental and behavioral disorders, but never had the tools to address it. Dealing with so much shame and pain, but there's no way I could suppress it. Being harassed by teachers, school resource officers, and other students. So whether I was in or out of class, I was constantly getting tested. My suspensions racked up. And if you looked up my record, I was doing Wilt Chamberlain numbers. It would be the middle of the school year, but I'm sitting at home like it's the summer. And if either of my parents cared about me, not once did they show it. Love came to me in the form of insults, belts, bloody knuckles, extension cords, and wire hangers. So that's the only way I got to know it. Never knew a thing about words of affirmation, vacations, or other kinds of family trips. In my home, our love language was broken bones, welted backs, and busted lips. Growing up, that was my reality. Suffering abuse at home while being over-policed at school and getting followed around in stores made me feel like I had a genetic predisposition to criminality. I had the ambition to be a Howard or Harvard fellow, but I became another fatality of a system that had my denigration in its design. So just know, my calculated decimation is the result of the new Jim Crow, proving I'm merely another casualty of the creation of the school to prison pipeline, where I'm seeking salvation in these sentences because I was gaslit to question my own mind. My support system only saw and brought out the worst in me. Was never able to hit the university, but I've learned a few things that I universally accept to be true. For one, our criminal punishment system serves as an English professor because it constantly hands out sentences. It sees us as menaces to society because from the walls of San Quentin to the barbed wire fences of Central Prison here in Raleigh, the prison industrial complex has forced the world to only see us as convicts and not as human beings battling complexities and trauma. And to add on to that drama, these perverse politicians partner with these pernicious private prisons to treat these jails like colleges because they get paid off our admissions. Then in the same breath will argue that they're pro-life but still sentence us to death. See, in this country, our punishment can be a capital one. So I must ask America, what's in your wallet? Because death has never equated to justice, but that's what you choose to call it. You don't care if I was represented by an incompetent attorney. You never cared to take the time to assess my background or really learn me. At every part of my life, you've brought strife and have facilitated in my journey from the cradle to the Gurney. See, I'm the rose that grew from concrete that never was allowed to truly blossom. So I need y'all to understand that lynching never died. It was simply playing possum.